I love to go to bookstores and say to the clerk, "There's a book, How to Deal with Rejection Without Killing. Do you have it?" J is for joke. Hello, my name is Jim. That's J for Jim. And welcome to my booktube channel about books and reading and stuff. This will be my 10th alphabetic tag. This will be the J tag. The J tag. J is for many things, like these jeeps, a jumping Jaguar, Jamaica, Japan. J is for Japan. What was the last book you read by a Japanese author? Usually for me it's something by Haruki Murakami. I've read more by this author than any other author from Japan. This time it's not though. It's Banana Yashimoto's book Kitchen. This is a very short novella, it's about 100 pages, and it's a book about sadness, about loss, and about trying to find your way in the world when you have no blood relatives. It's the story of Mikagi, who is living with her grandmother. She's in her early 20s, Mikagi, and when her grandmother dies, she finds she has no living blood relatives. She's kindly taken in by Yuchi and Eriko, who were friends of Mikagi's grandmother, and she finds comfort in their kitchen, hence the title Kitchen. But it's very much when your world is torn apart, when you're feeling devastated. It's very difficult when other people are just moving on with their lives. It's a very interesting story about loss and about family and about found family. We don't have a lot of countries begin with J. We have Japan, we have Jordan next to Israel, and here in the Caribbean we have Jamaica. J is for Jamaica. I bought this book in the past week, knowing that I had the J tag to do today, but I haven't read it yet. I haven't yet done any of the recipes in Levi Root's Reggae Cookbook. I do like Jamaica, but apart from this I don't have any Jamaican authors. If we look at the rest of the Caribbean, what was the last book you read by an author from the Caribbean? There's some great novels like The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde by Junot Diaz. Junot Diaz is from the Dominican Republic, and this is about an overweight computer nerd and his difficult life, particularly under Trujillo in the Dominican Republic, the dictator. And there's The Loss of El Dorado by V.S. Naipaul. This is a book about the history of Trinidad. I'll link to my blog review of that in the show notes below. But the last book I read by an author from the Caribbean was Migrations by J.L. Torres. This was a collection of short stories about people migrating from Puerto Rico to the US. And this book, Migrations, I was actually disappointed with it. The short stories started well, but then they fizzled out. So it was only a 3 out of 5 star read for me. J is for joke. Can you tell me a bookish joke? I want to write a mystery novel. Or do I? I actually have written a book. Or have I? This is our dog, Abby. Outside of a dog, a book is man's best friend. Inside of a dog, it's too dark to read. That was a little Marxist joke by Groucho Marx. J is for Jane Austen, and this is being filmed in July, which is Jane Austen July. What are you reading? In Jane Austen July, I'm reading Northanger Abbey. I'm at 4th chapter or 5th chapter. The chapters are very short here. It's about a girl who's very influenced by reading of Gothic novels, and I think that's going to influence the rest of the novel. I haven't read this before. I've only read Emma and Pride and Prejudice of Jane Austen's oeuvre so far, and it's interesting. So what are you reading for Jane Austen July, or what have you read for Jane Austen July? And if you're tackling this after July, what did you read in Jane Austen July, if anything? Or even what will you read in the next Jane Austen July? J is for James Joyce. What is your favourite novel by James Joyce? Have you been brave enough to tackle Finnegan's Wake? Ulysses is generally seen as his greatest novel. I haven't read it. I've only read The Dubliners and the portrait of the artist as a young man. I found the description of hell and the portrait of the artist as a young man very visceral, very scary. Enzo Ferrari described the Jaguar E-Type as the most beautiful car in the world, and he knew something about beautiful cars. My father's dream car was a Jaguar Mark 10. He never got one, although one year my mother, for his birthday, bought him a Corgi Jaguar Mark 10. This is a Corgi Jaguar E-Type. It was a joke in our family for many years afterwards. What do you think is the most beautiful car in the world? Not a very bookish prompt, I grant you, although you could go for Gatsby's yellow customised coupe. Who do I tag? I could tag myself, my channel, Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff, begins with J. That was a joke. Another joke. Okay, who do I tag? I tag Jaded Reader, Lady Jane Books, Jordan Parsons, Paperback Junkie, Joel Swagman, a fellow English teacher, also Jeremy Fee, of course, Joanna, Jay's Booktubing, Juan Ramos, AJ Dan Reads and Writes, and James Holder, who's been doing all of the tags so far. But if you like this tag, you want to do these prompts, even if your channel doesn't begin with J or you don't begin with J, please feel free to tackle it. So that was my J tag. Not as many prompts as usual. Mark Nash and Steve Donahue wondered how I get on with X and Z. I think I'm already struggling with J. If you like this video, you can like and subscribe below, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye. Jaguar, Jensen, Jay Gatsby, The Jazz Age, Jeremy Clarkson, Joy Division, one of the greatest bands ever, Japanese literature, Jim Butcher,